Have you ever thought you were doing something right for your body, only to find out, later on, that it might have been doing more harm than good? Let me ask you this. Have you ever picked up a handful of something like pumpkin seeds, tossed them into your oatmeal, or maybe just snacked on them straight from the bag, thinking, well, they're healthy. What's the harm? Because that's what we're told, right? Pumpkin seeds are full of nutrients, magnesium, zinc, fiber, healthy fats. They've even been called a superfood. But here's the thing most people don't realize, especially as we get older. Even superfoods can backfire. You might be doing something every day, right now, with the best of intentions. But if you're not eating pumpkin seeds the right way, you could be quietly damaging your digestion, stressing your kidneys, throwing off your blood pressure, or even interfering with your medications, and never connect the dots. See, our bodies aren't the same at 60, 70, or 80 as they were at 30. They're more sensitive, less forgiving. And that handful of seeds? If it's eaten at the wrong time, in the wrong way, or in the wrong amount, it could lead to reactions that don't just go away on their own. Some of them, unfortunately, can't be reversed. And what makes this really tricky is that these mistakes don't feel like mistakes at first. They sneak in quietly. A little bloating here, a spike in blood pressure there. A medication not working the way it used to. But most folks never suspect the innocent little pumpkin seed. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 8 biggest mistakes people make when eating pumpkin seeds, mistakes that are surprisingly common, especially in folks over 60. Some of these might genuinely surprise you. And by the time we're done, you'll know how to enjoy pumpkin seeds safely, without risking your health in the process. So, before we go any further, let me ask. Do you eat pumpkin seeds? Comment, I eat pumpkin seeds, down below. Let's see how many of us are unknowingly walking into these health traps. And if you care about making smarter food choices as you age, if you care about your body, your future, and living these later years with more clarity and control, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You're watching Elderly Wisdom Guide, where we dig deep into the everyday habits that could either heal, or hurt, the people we care about most. Including ourselves. Alright, let's get into it. Mistake number 1 might be sitting in your kitchen right now. Mistake number 1, eating them raw without cleaning properly. Let me tell you a quick story about John. He's 72, retired, and trying to live a little healthier. Like many of us, he read somewhere that pumpkin seeds were good for the heart, rich in magnesium and antioxidants. So every morning, without fail, he'd grab a small handful of raw pumpkin seeds straight from the package and toss them into his yogurt. At first, everything seemed fine. But within just a few weeks, John started to feel off. Bloated. Gassy. A little discomfort after meals that he'd never really had before. He thought maybe it was the yogurt, maybe something else in his diet, never suspecting the seeds. Here's what most people don't know. Raw pumpkin seeds can carry bacteria, mold spores, or even pesticide residue, especially if they're not organic or haven't been handled properly. Now, a younger immune system might be able to deal with that. But for older adults, even mild contamination can cause stomach issues, digestive upset, or in rare cases, more serious reactions. Our gut becomes more sensitive as we age, and the natural equals safe assumption can be a little dangerous. See, there's a misconception that raw means better, more nutritious, more pure. But in reality, raw seeds haven't gone through any process to kill off the things you can't see, and those invisible microbes. They can mess with your digestion and weaken your system slowly over time. So, what's the fix? Simple. Always rinse your pumpkin seeds, especially if they're straight from a fresh pumpkin or a bulk bin. Then roast them lightly, just enough heat to kill off bacteria without destroying the nutrients. And not just for flavor, either. Roasting actually breaks down some of the compounds that make seeds hard to digest. Now, cleaning them is a good first step. But what about how much you're eating? Because even healthy foods, when eaten in the wrong amount, can quietly work against you. Mistake number 2, overeating pumpkin seeds. Let's talk about Martha. She's 68, sharp as ever, and has been trying to swap out her old bag of potato chips for something cleaner. So she picked up a bag of pumpkin seeds, no salt, organic, seemed perfect. She'd keep them by her recliner and snack on them during her evening shows. A few here, a few there. But over time, her weight started creeping up. She felt sluggish. Her cholesterol panel came back a little worse than the last visit. What happened? Well, pumpkin seeds are healthy. But they're also calorie-dense and loaded with fat, even though it's the good kind of fat. Just half a cup of pumpkin seeds? That's over 300 calories. And those fats, while beneficial in small amounts, can still overwhelm an aging digestive system when eaten in excess. And here's where the misconception comes in: it's a healthy fat, I can eat as much as I want. That line of thinking gets a lot of people, especially when the snack is technically good for you. But as we get older, our metabolism slows down, and our ability to break down fats efficiently becomes less reliable. Too much fat, yes, even healthy fat, can raise cholesterol, irritate the gallbladder, and lead to gradual weight gain. So, what's a smart serving size? Stick to about 1 to 2 tablespoons a day. It's enough to get all the good stuff, like zinc, magnesium, and protein, without tipping the scales into overload. And try eating them with a meal, not as an all-day snack. Now, you might be thinking, alright, I'll clean them and eat less. But we're just getting started. Because too much fat isn't the only hidden danger. Let's talk about what these seeds can do to your digestion. Especially if you already deal with things like constipation or slow gut movement. Mistake number 3, ignoring their high fiber load. Now let me tell you about Elaine. She's 68 and always looking for simple ways to stay regular, something a lot of us can relate to as we age. After reading that pumpkin seeds are a great source of fiber, she got excited. She sprinkled them on her cereal in the morning, added them to salads at lunch, and even blended them into her smoothies. Everything seemed great. Until she started to feel backed up. Bloated. Uncomfortable. Then one night, the pain got so bad, her daughter had to take her to the emergency room. And what was the culprit? Too much fiber. From those tiny, innocent-looking pumpkin seeds. See, pumpkin seeds are loaded with fiber, and while fiber can be good, it's all about balance. As we get older, our digestion naturally slows down. The muscles in the digestive tract don't move food through the system as efficiently as they used to. So if you suddenly load up on high-fiber foods like pumpkin seeds, without adjusting anything else, your gut can get overwhelmed. And when that happens, you may experience bloating, gas, constipation, or even blockages. Now here's a common misconception: fiber is always good for you. Not quite. Fiber without water is like trying to wash down dry sand. It just clumps up inside you. So, here's the fix: if you're adding pumpkin seeds, or any high-fiber food to your diet, make sure you're also drinking plenty of water. Aim for at least 6 to 8 glasses a day. And if you already struggle with constipation, start small. A teaspoon of seeds a day, then work your way up gradually. Now, talking about fiber and water brings us to another concern that's often overlooked: your kidneys. Because when your body isn't properly hydrated, it's not just your gut that suffers. Your kidneys are quietly working overtime. Mistake number 4. Eating them while dehydrated. Let me introduce you to Tom. He's 75, active, drinks coffee in the morning, maybe a soda here and there, doesn't feel thirsty much during the day. One day, his doctor tells him his kidney numbers don't look great. But Tom was confused. He doesn't take painkillers, doesn't eat fast food, and tries to keep things healthy. He mentioned snacking on pumpkin seeds, and the doctor raised an eyebrow. Here's the deal, pumpkin seeds are high in phosphorus. And phosphorus is important, it supports bones, teeth, and cell repair. But too much of it, especially when your kidneys are already slowing down due to age, can become a problem. See, your kidneys filter excess phosphorus out of the blood. But if you're not hydrated enough, and you're eating a high-phosphorus snack regularly, like pumpkin seeds, your kidneys can become strained trying to keep up. Over time, this can lead to mineral imbalances and even kidney damage. And here's where the myth creeps in, seeds are small. They're natural. How could they possibly affect my organs? But it's not about their size. It's about concentration. These tiny seeds are nutrient powerhouses, and that means they can pack a punch, for better or worse. So, what should you do? If you already have kidney issues, or if you're on diuretics, which flush out fluids, it's best to limit or even avoid pumpkin seeds. And always talk to your doctor before making them a regular part of your diet. Now, if salt is something you've been watching lately, maybe your doctor has warned you about your blood pressure, you'll definitely want to hear what's coming next. Because the way pumpkin seeds are flavored might be hurting you more than you think. Let's talk about Margie. She's 70, energetic, and loves her spicy snacks. She found this big bag of roasted pumpkin seeds at the store. Chili lime flavor, bold, tasty, crunchy. She started munching on them during her afternoon crossword sessions. Every single day. They felt like the perfect snack, healthy seeds with a kick of flavor. But what Margie didn't realize, was that her blood pressure had been slowly creeping up. And one day, during a routine checkup, her doctor told her she was dangerously close to needing medication. Margie was shocked. She didn't eat chips. She avoided processed foods. But the truth was hidden right on the back of that pumpkin seed package, sodium. Some of these store-bought seed packs contain over 200 milligrams of salt in just one handful. For someone with heart issues, or someone trying to avoid them, that's not just a little mistake. That's a serious risk. Now, there's a big misunderstanding floating around, if it's a seed, it's healthy no matter what. But here's the thing. When seeds are covered in salt, spices, or preservatives, the health benefits take a hit. Especially when you're older, and your body becomes more sensitive to sodium's impact on your blood vessels and kidneys. So, here's a gentle tip, always read the label. If the sodium content is more than 5% of your daily value per serving, put it back. Better yet, buy raw, unsalted seeds and roast them at home. You get all the goodness, without the added salt, sugar, or strange chemicals. Now, even if you choose the cleanest, healthiest version of pumpkin seeds, timing still matters. Because what you eat, and when you eat it, both affect how your body responds, especially at night. Mistake number 6, eating seeds late at night. Let me introduce you to Sam. He's 73, lives alone, and has a habit many of us can relate to, late-night snacking. A small bowl of pumpkin seeds while reading the newspaper in bed, it felt harmless. But over time, Sam noticed something strange. His sleep changed. He started having odd dreams. He'd toss and turn, wake up feeling unrest. He thought maybe it was just aging. But it wasn't just age. It was timing. You see, pumpkin seeds contain tryptophan, an amino acid that can actually help the body make melatonin and serotonin, which are linked to better sleep. Sounds great, right? Here's the catch, pumpkin seeds are also high in fat and protein. And your body has to work hard to digest those, especially when you're lying down. So while one part of the seed is trying to help you relax, the rest of it is keeping your digestive system active at a time when it should be resting. And this leads to a common misconception: they help me sleep, so I'll eat them right before bed. But in reality, they can interfere with sleep if eaten too late, or in too large a quantity. So, what's the smart move? If you enjoy pumpkin seeds and want to tap into their sleep-supporting nutrients, have them earlier in the evening. Ideally, 2 to 3 hours before bed, maybe as part of a light dinner. That gives your body enough time to digest properly, so your sleep isn't disturbed. And now, here comes a mistake that's often missed, one that becomes critically important if you're taking medications. Because seeds may be natural, but they're not always neutral. Mistake number 7, mixing them with certain medications. Let me tell you about Beatrice. She's 76, full of life, and always trying to do better for her health. She started sprinkling pumpkin seeds on her oatmeal in the morning. Added a handful to her yogurt at lunch. Even munched on a few before dinner. Now, Beatrice was also on blood thinners. She'd had a minor stroke a year ago, so her doctor put her on medication to prevent clots. She was careful with everything, or so she thought. What she didn't realize was that pumpkin seeds, though natural, contain nutrients that can interact with medication. Vitamin K can affect blood clotting. Omega-3 fatty acids, while usually beneficial, can thin the blood further. And if you're already on anticoagulants, that can tip the balance in the wrong direction. But here's the thing, most people think, food can't mess with medicine, it's just seeds. But in truth, many natural foods can interfere with how medications work in your body. Especially for seniors, who may be on multiple prescriptions, blood pressure meds, diuretics, statins. And pumpkin seeds? They've got a mix of minerals and oils that can quietly complicate things. So, here's a word of caution. If you're on chronic medication, especially for the heart, kidneys, or blood, talk to your doctor before adding a lot of pumpkin seeds to your diet. You don't need to cut them out completely, but you do need to be aware. Because small choices can lead to big consequences. And now, we've come to the final, and maybe the most overlooked mistake. Mistake number 8. Believing more is better just because it's healthy. Ava, age 70, was dealing with arthritis in her knees. She'd read somewhere that pumpkin seeds have anti-inflammatory properties. Magnesium, zinc, healthy fats, great for joints, right? So, she went all in. Morning smoothie. Add seeds. Midday snack. Pumpkin seed bar. Dinner salad. More seeds. She believed if a little was good, a lot must be better. But soon, Ava wasn't feeling better. She had constant indigestion, bloating, and started gaining weight. She was frustrated. She thought she was doing everything right. After all, pumpkin seeds are a superfood, aren't they? Here's the truth that we all need to hear, especially as we get older. Even healthy foods can cause harm if you go overboard. Superfoods are not miracle cures. They're part of a bigger picture, a balanced lifestyle, not a shortcut. There's a dangerous myth out there. If it's good for me, I can have as much as I want. But the reality is, your body thrives on balance. And as we age, variety becomes more important than ever. Focusing too much on one food, even a healthy one, can crowd out other nutrients your body needs. So, what's the takeaway here? Enjoy your pumpkin seeds. They're nutritious, crunchy, and can absolutely support your health, but only when eaten the right way, in the right amount, at the right time. And that's where the real wisdom comes in. Not from chasing the next big health trend, but from understanding your body, your needs, and making thoughtful choices. Now, let's take a deep breath. Because this journey into food and health isn't just about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning, growing, and doing better, for yourself and the ones you care about. It's strange, isn't it? How something so small, so simple. A seed you've probably had in trail mix or sprinkled over soup. Could quietly, slowly, begin affecting your body in ways you never imagined. You think you're doing something right. You're trying. You're making healthier choices, cutting back on sugar, walking more, drinking more water. And then, you find out that even though healthy foods come with fine print, especially when your body isn't 30 anymore. It's not fair. But it is real. As we age, our bodies ask us to listen more carefully. They don't bounce back the way they used to. And the things that were once harmless can now have deeper, more lasting effects. And that can feel overwhelming. Like you're always a step behind. Always finding out too late. But here's something I want you to hear, and hold on to: you're not behind. You're right here, right now, learning. And that means you care. Not just about your own health, but maybe about your partner's, your sister's, your father who's starting to forget things, or that neighbor down the street who's always sharing snacks and smiles. You're not here because you're afraid. You're here because you want to be prepared. Because you know that knowledge, real, grounded, simple knowledge, can save time, money, and most of all, suffering. So today, I want you to do something simple. Open your pantry. Look at the bag of pumpkin seeds on the shelf. Read the label. Think about how much you eat, and when, and with what. Ask yourself, are you making any of these 8 mistakes without even knowing it? Not out of guilt. Not out of fear. But out of love. Out of respect for the body that's carried you through decades of life, the body that still deserves gentle, thoughtful care. Because here's the hopeful truth: pumpkin seeds aren't the enemy. They can be wonderful, full of fiber, magnesium, zinc, and those good, heart-loving fats. But like all things, they need balance. And balance comes from awareness. From wisdom. From doing what you're doing right now, taking the time to learn before you leap. It's never too late to shift. To make a small change. To do something just a little smarter today than you did yesterday. And those small shifts, they build up over time. They turn into better digestion, better sleep, more energy, less risk. More peace of mind when you lay your head down at night. So, don't worry if you've made one, or even all, of these mistakes before. Because now, you know. And knowing? That's the first step to doing better. For your body. For your health. For the beautiful years still ahead of you. Stay with me now, we're going to wrap this up together. And I've got a question I'd love for you to answer. So, let's take a breath and gently go over what we've uncovered together today. We talked about 8 common mistakes that people, especially older adults, often make with pumpkin seeds. We started with something so basic, not washing raw seeds properly, which can bring in bacteria or mold that our aging immune systems don't handle as well. Then we looked at portion sizes, and how easy it is to overeat, even with something healthy. Fiber overload was next. Too much of it without water can actually backfire and cause more digestive issues. We talked about dehydration, and how seeds high in phosphorus can put pressure on kidneys that are already working harder with age. And who could forget those store-bought flavored seeds, full of salt and hidden sodium that raise blood pressure? We learned that timing matters. Eating seeds late at night can disturb your rest more than help it. Then came the big one. Mixing seeds with medications like blood thinners or diuretics without realizing the impact. And finally, perhaps the most human mistake of all, thinking that more is better, simply because something is labeled healthy. Each one of these can seem small on its own. But together, they tell a powerful story about how awareness and wisdom can protect your health. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed strange symptoms after eating something you thought was helping you? Maybe it was pumpkin seeds. Maybe something else. Drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear what surprised you the most from today's video. And if this conversation opened your eyes, even just a little, please consider subscribing to Elderly Wisdom Guide. This channel is here for you. Whether you're navigating your own health journey or helping a loved one through theirs, we're walking this path together. Every day, we bring you insights, reflections, and real-world tips focused on aging gracefully, eating wisely, and living with intention. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because the more you know, the more you can do for yourself and those you love. And as always, thank you, truly, for spending this time with me. Your time is valuable. Your health is worth protecting. And your wisdom is growing, one video at a time. Stay informed. Stay kind to your body. And remember, even the small things we do today can protect us tomorrow. I'll see you again in the next video. Until then, take care, and keep walking forward with grace.